Hey everyone, my name is Leslie. Welcome to my channel, Books, Girls, and Purrs. And this is our spoiler corner where we get a chance to commune together, talk about a book that I know my family and friends are tired of me talking their ears off about. And that is The Grasping Root by Margaret Pinard, published in 2017 by Taste Life Twice Publishing. This is the second book in the Remnants trilogy. The first book was The Cleaning, which I absolutely love because we focus on the MacLean family um, in a little, like off of a little island from Scotland, and the kelp industry has just been decimated, and so the family is forcibly removed from their homes by the lords of the land, and they're very unceremoniously removed and forced to fend for themselves, forced to survive, try to find work, try to scrap up money, and figure out where are they going to go to next, where are they going to try to restart their lives. And that leads to the second book, The Grasping Root. I absolutely love the name of every single book in the trilogy, because it really like encapsulates what you're going to get into. And so with The Grasping Root, we now have this family that it's been like a couple of years later. They've um, now built a home for themselves. They found a plot of land to live in, and but it can't come that easy, right? What happens is there's a mysterious death of the stepfather, Galan, and so there's so much up in the air. They're still mourning the death of their loved one, but because that happens, there's a toggling of trying to figure out, like, trying to get seek some justice in what happened to the stepfather. There's also dealing with grief and how each family feels about like their interactions with the stepfather before he passed away. I mean, it was a sudden, and there wasn't really like closure for the family. And so I really liked the aspects of seeing how each person reacts, whether it's the mother um, or the son feeling like almost like there's not time to grieve. Neil, the eldest son, and there's also the youngest daughter. I think her name's like Sheena, and it seems like she has this attitude of just like, you know what, I'm just gonna like keep pushing forward. And I feel like that's also a symptom of when something traumatic happens in the way. There's just like I can't even go there. Um, and we also have a little bit of a sprinkling of like how someone deals with an entirely different trauma that happened from the first book, right? Um, the family had to leave very like abruptly, and their home was burned. So through the eldest daughter, Myrn, we kind of see how she at times has like a she gets like triggered by like when she has to start a fire or something like that. And it's kind of subtly put in there, but I appreciate it because um ultimately the body keeps account, right? When traumatic things happened, and maybe your mind knows better and thinks like, all right, well, you're no longer in that place, but there's a part of her that's still reacting, right, and trying to keep her safe, and that comes out like a trauma response. So I really appreciated like that being included in the story. Also, there's just decisions that the characters make that made me feel like I don't know if I would be able to like survive this timeline. Um, for instance, the eldest daughter, um, the only way she could contribute in society at this time is to make marry someone that's advantageous to her entire family. So there is a doctor that ends up being interested in her. She does decide to marry them, and I think that was a part that was hard for me because I I just kept thinking of the time that they're in and how dangerous it could be to not marry someone that's just to marry someone that's like a completely different faith. But the person that she decides to marry, the doctor, uh, he's atheist. So and also he's very like matter of fact and open about it. And although I could see that in his personality, I just feel like it's like such a dangerous time to stick to your convictions in that way. But ultimately, the eldest daughter sees that, like he's a good person and that ultimately he's not gonna like force his beliefs on his kids. So I think uh the eldest daughter just kind of sees this as like, oh well, there's still wiggle room here. He's a rational person. We could have these kind of conversations, and it just seems like she's setting herself up for like a tough time, but it's something that she agrees to. And so that definitely gave me something to chew on while reading this book. I once again feel like my heart is with the eldest son, Neil, because once he left their home originally, he already had to have his dream squandered of ever getting a higher education. But now that their stepfather has passed away, he's really stepped into the role of having to be like the man of the house and make some very weighty decisions for his family. And what's really beautiful about his character is that he still seeks the advisement. It's not like a dictatorship, but you just see how he's just trying to do what's right by the family, and it's just really terrible that at such a young age he's put into that position. And we just see how he's even trying to set up his younger brother, Alastair, up for academic success. And all the while, we as a reader know that that's something that Neil wanted for themselves and they had to give up. So it's like a poignant part of the story that really got to me. And then this leads me into the conversation about Murin's, I hope I'm saying her name right, the eldest daughter's decision to marry someone that is not only atheist, but they have, it's not like they've had a lot of time to get to know each other. This is a time where it's like people wrote letters together. He's busy going to medical school, and so she ends up realizing that her fiance's family isn't too keen on them getting married, and so you kind of see in this book it's not really just about like a struggle like for survival like the Keening was. Instead, this is kind of like this class dynamics and working to fit into a community, um, and also like her future family, getting them to like accept her. And that was like wildly interesting because Neil's family is not as like level-headed as he is. But it comes from like a protective place. And once again, those class dynamics come into play. So I don't know. I had a lot of feelings about like her fiance's family really like coming out like after them without really like getting to know them. I don't know. It said a lot about their character. But I appreciated like getting a clue into like what that would look like when two people marry that are from like different classes and also different faith backgrounds, and how that comes into play. And yeah, it was definitely a lot. And also, the fiance's parents are like so pushy. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. I think his name is Edward. I don't know why his name escapes me, but yeah. Um, So moving along, we also see Sheena's like the youngest one, I believe. It's Sheena and Alastair. Uh, I noticed that with Sheena, she seems to she's so young that she says she's okay, but with everything that's gone on, she's just like very tough. We see her journey kind of like, I don't know, she just has like such a strength to her, but it also kind of made me sad for her character because with everything going on, I almost feel like she doesn't um I don't know, she doesn't really give herself time to grieve the situations, and she's just like full steam ahead. We gotta like establish herself, family, and try to think what can she do to make money. And she's just so young to have to go through that. And so yeah, I I really appreciated how much each character has to go from being, even if they are children, like Sheena and Alastair, they still have to grow up so quickly and like establish their own little farm and also try to figure out um, for each person, what are their talents and like, so what can they offer to the community? And I just found that really fascinating. What also really hit me is just the struggle that the mother goes through. She gets put through the ringer. It just seems like one bad thing happens after the other, and just to see how this family sticks together. Um, And it almost feels like it's so easy, I guess, to fall apart, but there's so much strength in the family, as well as the mother, Sheila, just take one day at a time. And she finds herself in a position where she's not really able-bodied to be of service to the family, and that's got to be so hard when they've already been through so much between the traveling, trying to like sell what she could to just get money to get them where they're at today was like was wildly sad. On another note, what I really loved in this book and also in The Keening was the inclusion of food. Because it's historical fiction, I enjoyed kind of reading like the food that the family would make, and I even put tabs. I don't know if you can see it, but all the tabs that are like green are all maybe if I do it like this, I don't know, are all like the times like food is mentioned. I didn't mark all of them, but I found that fascinating, and it really like crafted the story that we're coming across. Anyways, I don't want to keep talking too much, but I really enjoy the story and I like the progress between, we're still following this family, but the plot's very different, right? The first book was more about forced migration. Now we have a family trying to root themselves into society. And I really found that fascinating. I look forward to the third book. Let me know what you think about this book if you've read it. If there's anything else that you felt like really touched you that I didn't really talk about, I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming to my spoiler corner, and I'll see you in the chat.